The calm before the storm. Emerges empire. In a quiet corner of the universe, there lay a vast empire known as the Immerse Empire. For many years, the empire had been a symbol of order and strength, keeping the balance between countless worlds. Its people lived in a state of calm and routine, trusting in the long-established ways of their leaders. Yet even in the midst of peace, subtle hints of change began to stir. The capital of the Immerse Empire was a grand city built on high cliffs overlooking a deep blue sea. In this city, towering spires and ancient monuments told the story of the empire's long history. People walked the busy streets with a quiet confidence. They believed that the strength of their rulers would protect them from any threat that might arise from beyond their borders. Daily life was simple, with farmers tending to their fields, artisans perfecting their crafts, and children playing under the warm sun. At the heart of the empire stood the Council of Elders, a group of wise and experienced leaders who had guided the Immerse Empire for generations. They met in a grand hall, where golden light filled the room, and decisions were made with care and thought. The council was known for its fairness and wisdom, and its members were respected by everyone. Even though some whispers of discontent and desire for change occasionally passed among the people, most trusted that the council would keep the empire safe and stable. One quiet morning, a young scout named Arlen was sent on a routine mission to the outskirts of the empire. He was tasked with watching the far horizons and keeping an eye on any unusual activity in space. Arlen had always been curious and brave, and he took his job very seriously. As he traveled in his small spacecraft, he noticed that something was different. Far away on the edge of known space, a faint glow shimmered like a firefly in the dark. It was a sight that he had not seen before, and it made him feel uneasy. When Arlen returned to the capital, he reported his sighting to his superiors. His words were simple and honest. "I saw a light that did not belong. It was quiet, but it burned with a strange glow." The council listened intently, but many of them dismissed it as a trick of light or an anomaly in the sensors. Life in the empire had been peaceful for so long that the idea of trouble from the stars seemed almost impossible. However, a small group within the council felt that Arlen's report was a warning of future events. They believed that the light was a sign that forces beyond their control were gathering strength. They reminded the council of old legends that spoke of a time when the stars would burn with the anger of forgotten gods. Though these tales were often dismissed as myths, the possibility of their truth could not be ignored completely. The people of the empire continued with their daily lives, unaware of the quiet tension building behind closed doors. In the market squares, traders spoke of simple matters: the price of food, the weather, and the coming harvest. In the workshops, artisans worked with their hands, crafting items that had been passed down from one generation to the next. There was a feeling of normalcy, and yet the undercurrent of change was present, like a soft hum in the background that few could quite name. Even as the empire rested in this calm period, the seeds of conflict were quietly being sown. The council's more cautious members began to send out more scouts to gather information, and they prepared secret meetings to discuss what the strange light might mean. They took every precaution to keep their concerns hidden from the public, fearing that panic would only lead to chaos. In a small corner of the capital, a young scholar named Mira studied ancient texts. Mira had a keen mind and a love for history. She often wondered about the old stories of cosmic battles and lost civilizations. Recently, as she read a dusty manuscript in the Grand Library, she found a passage that described a similar light, a celestial fire that appeared before a great change swept across the land. Mira's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that the legends were more than just stories? Was the calm before the storm more than just a quiet period in their long history? Mira decided to share her findings with a close friend, a guard named Joran. Joran was known for his loyalty and bravery. He listened carefully as Mira explained her discovery, and he agreed that this was something that could not be ignored. Together, they planned to observe the skies more closely. They hoped to catch another glimpse of the strange light and to learn more about its meaning. As the sun set over the grand city, the shadows grew long and deep. The streets became quieter, and the people returned to their homes. But in the heart of the empire, a silent promise was made by those who believed that change was coming. The Immerse Empire stood on the brink of a new era, a time when the calm before the storm would give way to the mighty roar of battle, and the stars themselves would witness the rise of heroes. In the stillness of the night, as the stars began to shine, the empire awaited the unknown with a mix of hope and fear. Little did they know that the strange lights seen by Arlen and the ancient warnings uncovered by Mira were just the first signs of a conflict that would shake the very foundations of their world. The calm had begun, but the storm was already stirring in the dark corners of the universe. The war declaration. The peace of the Immerse Empire shattered one fateful day when Earth, its leaders and people alike, decided that silence was no longer an option. In the High Council chambers, a tense meeting was held. The wise elders gathered, debating the strange light that had been seen and the eerie signs that hinted at danger from the stars. For a long time, the Empire had trusted in its calm existence, but now whispers of worry grew into bold calls for action. In this meeting, a determined leader named Commander Terran stood up. He argued that the time had come for Earth to take a stand. "We have lived in peace for too long," Terran said in a strong yet calm voice. "Our people have suffered quietly while shadows gather. It is time to speak out, to declare that we will no longer hide behind our walls. We must show the universe that we are ready to fight for our freedom." At first, many in the council were reluctant. They remembered the long history of the Empire, the years of quiet routine, and the legends that warned against stirring old powers. However, Terran's words stirred something deep in them. A few members of the council recalled old battles, stories of heroes who fought against darkness, and the promise of a new future. Slowly, they began to see that the strange signs could be the call to arms they had been waiting for. When the council finally reached a decision, it was clear and bold. Earth would declare war against the mysterious force they believed was behind the ominous light. The declaration was not made lightly. It was the result of careful thought, hidden research, and a deep longing for change. The council wrote down their words, simple yet powerful, and sent them out to every corner of the Empire. On the day of the declaration, people all over Earth gathered in the great squares of their cities. There was a mix of emotions, fear, hope, and a sense of pride that something important was about to happen. Loudspeakers echoed with the official words, "Today, Earth declares war against those who threaten our freedom. We stand united, ready to defend our future." The message was clear. The Empire was no longer going to sit in silence. Its voice was raised in defiance, and the universe trembled at the sound. At that very moment, far away from Earth, the mysterious intergalactic council that had long controlled the fate of many worlds began to feel the shock. Their secure halls and orderly meetings were thrown into disarray as they realized that Earth, once a quiet and obedient realm, had turned into a battleground of resolve. The council's leaders huddled together, trying to understand the meaning of this bold move. Fear crept into their hearts, and uncertainty clouded their plans. Back on Earth, Commander Terran and his team of warriors prepared for what would be a long and difficult battle. Every soldier, every pilot, and every worker was ready to face the unknown. In the training grounds, simple drills turned into serious practices, and the calm routine of daily life was replaced by the rush of preparation. Simple weapons were honed into tools of survival, and old strategies were dusted off from the pages of ancient texts. For many, the war declaration brought hope. Ordinary people, who once led quiet lives, now saw a chance to become heroes. They gathered in community halls, discussing how they would support their warriors and stand united as one people. Mothers, fathers, and children, along with the elderly, all played their part in this great moment. The declaration was more than just words. It was a promise of change, a promise that no one would be left behind. Meanwhile, whispers of the decision began to spread throughout the universe. In distant galaxies, Beings and empires that had once looked upon Earth as insignificant started to take notice. The ripple of Earth's bold announcement reached far and wide, sending shockwaves that made even the stars seem to flicker with anticipation. The silence of the cosmos was broken by the sounds of a new war, a war that promised to reshape the destiny of countless worlds. In one of the remote command centers, a young officer named Lena felt a mix of fear and excitement. She had been raised on stories of valor and sacrifice, and now she found herself living one of those stories. Lena's hands trembled as she sent messages to Allied units, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. She believed in the cause and knew that, together, they could stand against the mighty forces of the unknown. As the day turned to evening, the entire empire braced for what was to come. The declaration had been made, and the universe was already responding. Reports came in of strange movements in space, of shimmering lights, and unusual energy patterns. The same glow that had first appeared to Arlen now seemed to pulse with a new, more menacing energy. It was as if the universe itself was preparing for a great clash, echoing the battle cry that Earth had raised. In the capital, a large screen showed the declaration to all who could watch. People stood in awe as the words scrolled by, a mix of hope and determination written in bold letters. The Empire's flag, flown high in every city, now symbolized not just peace, but the bravery to face the unknown. The calm before the storm was now a memory, replaced by a fierce resolve that burned brighter than any star. The war declaration was a turning point. It was a call to arms that promised change and a future written by the courage of those who dared to fight. The universe had been provoked, and a new chapter was just beginning. A chapter where Earth's voice would no longer be silent, and the battles to come would be remembered as the spark that lit the flame of hope and freedom. The Council's panic. As the news of Earth's war declaration echoed through the universe, a dark cloud of worry began to spread within the ancient halls of the Intergalactic Council. In a grand chamber filled with towering columns and deep shadows, the council members gathered in urgent, hushed clusters. For many centuries, the council had held power over countless worlds, confident in their control and order. Now, faced with Earth's bold defiance, they found themselves in a state of deep panic and uncertainty. High-ranking Councillor Varric, whose silver hair and steady gaze had once been symbols of unwavering authority, now appeared unsettled. He listened intently as his fellow councillors discussed Earth's sudden act of rebellion. "How could a small world like Earth dare to challenge us?" he murmured, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and disbelief. The other members shared his concern, whispering among themselves about the possible causes behind such an unexpected move. In one corner of the chamber, Councillor Muriel, known for her sharp mind and ancient wisdom, scanned through a holographic archive of records and prophecies. Her eyes widened as she discovered old texts that spoke of a similar uprising, a time when a seemingly insignificant planet had risen to challenge the established order. The texts warned of dire consequences for those who underestimated the power of a determined people. Muriel's heart raced as she realized that Earth's declaration might not be a mere anomaly, but the beginning of a larger, more dangerous change. As panic grew, the council members began to argue about the best course of action. Some believed that the council should strike back immediately, using their advanced technologies and vast resources to crush the rebellion before it could spread. Others warned that a rash response might only worsen the situation, urging a more cautious approach. The room became a swirl of conflicting voices and heated debates. Every opinion was weighed with the fear that even a small mistake could lead to the collapse of their long-held power. Among the voices of dissent, a young and relatively unknown council member named Elian stepped forward. He spoke in a clear, calm tone, trying to cut through the chaos. "We must not let our fear drive us to act without understanding," Elian said. "Let us gather more information about Earth's true strength and their reasons for this declaration. We must learn what they plan, so we can decide our next move wisely." His words, though simple, held a sense of reason that momentarily silenced the louder voices. Yet even as some nodded in agreement, others scoffed. arguing that hesitation would only encourage Earth's defiance. Outside the chamber, in the high-security corridors of the Council's flagship, elite scouts and spies were already being dispatched to watch Earth's every move. These agents, trained in the arts of observation and stealth, reported back with images of Earth's mobilizing forces. They described vast armies and fleets being readied for battle, scenes that contrasted sharply with the image of a quiet, peaceful planet. The reports fueled the panic within the Council even further, as they realized that Earth was no longer a quiet backwater, but a rising power determined to reshape the cosmos. Councillor Varick called for a secret session to plan a counter-strategy. In the dim light of the secure war room, he gathered a small group of trusted advisors. "We must act quickly and decisively," he urged, his voice now firm despite the underlying fear. "If Earth succeeds in rallying others, our authority will be challenged across the universe. We cannot allow that to happen." The group began to draft plans that ranged from diplomatic overtures to full-scale military responses. Every plan was laced with the urgency of the moment, as they scrambled to find a solution to the crisis that Earth had ignited. Meanwhile, the whispers of panic reached even the outer chambers of the Council. Some members began to fear that this was the very beginning of the end, a collapse of the long-held order that had governed the stars. Others worried about the hidden forces that might be at work behind Earth's declaration. There were rumors of secret alliances and ancient powers that had been dormant for millennia, now stirring in response to the rebellion. In this atmosphere of dread, every shadow seemed to hide a threat, and every sound was a harbinger of impending doom. Back on Earth, the declaration had already started to inspire not only hope, but also fierce determination among its people. But for the Council, this bold act was a direct challenge to their authority. In the coming days, as more evidence of Earth's growing strength emerged, the Council's panic would give way to an all-out effort to reassert control over the rebellious planet. Their plans were laid out with meticulous detail, but deep down, every member knew that they were now facing a foe unlike any they had encountered before. In the grand halls of the Council, the mood was somber and tense. The ancient order, once so confident in its eternal rule, now trembled at the thought of change. Each member wrestled with the fear of losing power and the possibility that the rebellion might be the spark that ignited a universe-wide revolution. And as the Council prepared to send its response into the cosmos, the unknown forces behind Earth's declaration remained shrouded in mystery, leaving the entire universe to wonder what would come next. The first clash. As the universe held in a surprising turn, the Council deployed a new weapon. A massive glowing orb emerged from one of their ships and drifted slowly towards the battlefield. Its energy pulsed with an eerie light, and as it drew closer, it disrupted the simple signals used by Earth's fighters. Confusion spread among the ranks as the orb's power seemed to twist space and time, making it difficult for anyone to see clearly. For a brief moment, the clash turned into a dance of shadows and light, where friend and foe appeared almost the same. Commander Terran quickly saw the danger. He gathered his top officers and devised a new plan using basic signals and hand signs that even in the chaos could be understood. "We must not let this orb break our line," he said in a calm but strong voice. His words, simple and clear, cut through the confusion and brought focus back to his troops. They moved together, using every bit of training they had, and managed to flank the Council's agents who were distracted by the orb. As the battle raged on, both sides showed flashes of bravery and smart tactics. The Council's forces, though equipped with advanced technology, began to realize that Earth's simple methods and strong spirit were not so easily defeated. In one memorable moment, an Earth fighter managed to disable a Council ship by targeting a small power unit. This unexpected success boosted the morale of the Earth's fleet, and the message was clear: they would fight with every resource they had. On the other hand, the Council was not ready to accept failure. Their leaders ordered more ships to join the fight, and the dark sky above became filled with the glitter of incoming vessels. The battle stretched on, and neither side was willing to give an inch. The clash was fierce, with explosions lighting up the dark space and the sounds of battle echoing across distant worlds. The first clash ended not with a clear victory, but with both sides forced to retreat and regroup. Earth's forces had shown that their simple courage could stand against advanced power, while the Council realized that the cost of underestimating this new enemy might be higher than they expected. As the scattered remnants of the battle faded into the night, a quiet understanding settled over both armies. This was only the beginning of a long and difficult war, a war that would decide the fate of many worlds. In the quiet that followed, as survivors tended to their wounds and counted their losses, each soldier and pilot held on to hope. They knew that this first clash was a sign of what was to come. The universe had been awakened to Earth's strength, and the promise of a brighter future drove them forward into the unknown battles ahead. The turning point. The battle raged on, and both sides began to feel the weight of their choices. In the midst of the chaos, a secret that had been hidden for ages was revealed, a truth that would forever change the course of the war. High above the battlefield, Commander Terran's second-in-command, Lieutenant Kara, was reviewing a long-forgotten archive in a quiet control room. The digital files, dusty with neglect, held records of an ancient alliance between Earth and a long-lost civilization. This lost civilization, known simply as the Keepers, had once guarded a powerful energy source capable of turning the tide of any conflict. Their wisdom and technology were legendary, and their teachings spoke of a time when the universe was united against darkness. As Lieutenant Kara studied the files, she discovered a set of coordinates that pointed to a hidden facility buried deep within Earth's old mountains. The records claim that the Keepers had built this sanctuary as a last resort, a place where their most advanced secrets were kept safe. The facility was said to hold a device called the Heart of the Stars, an energy core so potent that it could either protect or destroy entire worlds. Kara's heart pounded with the realization that this was the turning point they needed. Back on the front line, whispers of this forgotten power began to circulate among Earth's soldiers. Ryan, the young soldier who had once led a counterattack, overheard his comrades discussing the possibility of a hidden secret. In the heat of the fight, these whispers spread like wildfire, and hope blossomed among the ranks. The idea that Earth might have a secret weapon, a hidden strength passed down from ancient times, gave the fighters renewed courage. They no longer saw themselves as mere defenders, but as potential heroes, ready to awaken the legacy of the Keepers. As the Council's agents tightened their grip on the battlefield, Earth's leaders knew that time was running short. Commander Terran, sensing the shift in momentum, gathered his top officers. In a hushed meeting behind secure lines, he explained the discovery of the hidden facility. His voice, though low, carried a deep sense of urgency. "This is our chance," he said simply. "We must reach the facility, activate the Heart of the Stars, and show the enemy that our strength is more than just our numbers." The plan was risky. The route to the facility wound through treacherous, uncharted territory, where ancient traps and natural hazards lay in wait. But every soldier understood that this hidden power could be the key to breaking the enemy's hold. With a mix of fear and determination, a small elite unit was formed, tasked with finding the facility and securing the device. Lieutenant Kara was chosen to lead this daring mission, her discovery now the beacon of hope for Earth's forces. As Kara and her team ventured away from the main battlefield, the war around them began to feel like a distant echo. They traveled through dark, winding tunnels beneath the mountains, guided only by the ancient coordinates and their unwavering belief in a better future. The journey was long and perilous, filled with narrow escapes from old mechanical traps and the remnants of a time when technology and magic had walked hand in hand. Deep within the mountain, hidden behind a wall of ancient stone, they finally found the entrance to the facility. The door was inscribed with symbols of the Keepers, simple shapes that spoke of unity, courage, and sacrifice. With careful hands and steady hearts, Kara and her team worked to open the door. When it finally creaked open, a soft, pulsing light filled the dark chamber beyond. Inside, the facility was like a temple lost in time. The walls shimmered with an inner glow, and in the center of the main hall sat the heart of the stars. The device was small, yet it radiated a power that seemed to connect the past with the future. For a moment, time stood still as the team gazed upon it. They felt not just the weight of history, but also the promise of a new beginning. At that critical moment, Lieutenant Kara placed her hand on the heart of the stars. A surge of energy flowed through her, and a vision flashed before her eyes. Visions of ancient battles, of the keepers standing together against darkness, and of a future where Earth would rise as a beacon of hope. This revelation filled her with a resolve that was stronger than any fear. She knew that she must return and share this power with the rest of the army. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Commander Terran received news of Kara's discovery. The revelation of the ancient powers sparked a wave of hope across Earth's forces. Soldiers who had once fought with grim determination now fought with the belief that destiny was on their side. The tide of battle began to turn as more units prepared to rally around the secret weapon that had been uncovered. The turning point was clear. The hidden legacy of the Keepers was no longer a myth, but a reality that could shape the future. On the other side, the Council's fleet had regrouped and prepared for a counterattack. Their ships, sleek and dangerous, glided through the dark space above. The Council's leaders, still reeling from their earlier panic, now focused all their might on crushing Earth's rebellion once and for all. The dark craft carried weapons that could tear through metal and space, and they advanced with a cold, calculated precision. The climactic battle began as both sides moved forward at the same moment. In the early light of dawn, the skies over the battlefield exploded with energy. Earth's fighters, powered by the heart of the stars, launched themselves into the air in swift, agile maneuvers. They dove and soared, dodging laser blasts and returning fire with a relentless spirit. Every explosion in the sky marked the clash of two very different worlds, the simple strength of Earth against the high technology of the Council. On the ground, fierce clashes continued as well. Infantry units advanced through scared landscapes, using every available cover. They fought bravely, side by side, with the hope of protecting not just their families, but their very future. In the midst of the chaos, ordinary citizens who had once been peaceful workers now joined the battle. Their simple hearts beat with extraordinary courage as they picked up arms and stood shoulder to shoulder with trained soldiers. Lieutenant Kara led a special squad deep into the heart of the enemy's formation. Their mission was to disable the Council's main command center, a giant structure that pulsed with dark energy. Moving carefully among the chaos, they dodged enemy fire and overcame high-tech traps set to guard the facility. The squad used simple tactics, relying on quick thinking and trust in one another. Every step they took was a step closer to breaking the enemy's hold. As the clash reached its peak, Commander Terran himself joined the aerial battle. He piloted one of the finest fighter jets Earth had, a machine enhanced by the ancient power of the Keepers. In a dazzling display of skill, he led a group of pilots in a daring maneuver that turned the tide of the fight. They flew in a tight formation, weaving through enemy fire and launching a coordinated strike against a cluster of Council ships. The impact of their attack sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks and gave Earth's forces a significant advantage. The battle was not without moments of sorrow and sacrifice. Many brave souls gave their lives to protect the promise of a better future. In the face of overwhelming power, even the smallest act of bravery shone like a beacon. The sound of explosions mixed with the cries of determination, and the battlefield became a place where legends were born in real time. Every soldier, every pilot, and every person fighting on Earth was part of a larger story. A story of hope, unity, and the power of ancient wisdom meeting modern courage. Back at the command center, the Council's leaders realized that their advanced weapons and tactics were not enough. The simple strength and unity of Earth's people, fueled by the heart of the stars, were turning the conflict in unexpected ways. As more Council ships were disabled by the relentless attack, their commanders began to doubt the certainty of victory. The balance of power shifted with every passing moment, and the once unshakable authority of the Council wavered under the pressure of a united enemy. The climax of the battle came when Lieutenant Kara and her squad reached the enemy command center. With a combination of stealth and determination, they infiltrated the building and set charges on its power core. As alarms rang out and chaos erupted inside the facility, a massive explosion tore through the command center. The shockwave of the blast rippled across the battlefield, knocking enemy ships out of the sky and silencing the Council's coordinated command. In that final moment, Earth's forces surged forward with renewed vigor. The enemy, now in disarray, began a hasty retreat. The combined might of simple bravery, ancient power, and modern determination had overcome the dark forces that once ruled the cosmos. The climactic battle ended not with a single victory or loss, but with the undeniable message that unity and hope could change the fate of worlds. As the dust settled, Earth's people stood together, tired but triumphant. The scars of battle would remain, but so would the legacy of their courage. The heart of the stars continued to glow softly in the background, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, a spark of ancient power and human determination can light the way to a brighter future. Aftermath and the road ahead. As the dust settled on the battlefield, Earth's forces gathered to count their losses and tend to their wounds. The echoes of the climactic battle still reverberated through the quiet morning air. Though the enemy had retreated and the dark ships of the Council were scattered across space, the victory was bittersweet. Many brave souls had fallen, and the scars of war marked the land and the hearts of the survivors. In the capital, the people slowly began to rebuild. They cleaned up broken streets, repaired damaged buildings, and shared stories of heroism. The victory had united the people in a way that nothing else could. Families gathered to honor the fallen, and communities promised to support one another as they faced the uncertain days ahead. The memory of the battle was a reminder of the great cost of freedom, but also a symbol of hope that no power, no matter how mighty, could silence the human spirit. In a quiet chamber of the command center, Commander Terran and his top officers met to discuss the future. The heart of the stars continued to glow, a gentle light that now symbolized not just victory, but also the heavy responsibility of its power. "We have won a great battle," Terran said in a calm yet determined voice, "but our journey is far from over. Today we have shown the universe that Earth stands strong. Tomorrow we must prepare for the challenges ahead." The Council, humbled and shaken by the turn of events, retreated into the shadows to rethink their strategies. Their fear of a united Earth had grown into a determination to reclaim control. Rumors spread that the Council was gathering new allies and hidden weapons in secret, suggesting that the war was not yet over. The threat still loomed, and Earth's victory was only a step in a long struggle for freedom. Amid this uncertain future, hope and renewal blossomed among Earth's people. In the villages and cities, stories of the ancient keepers and the power of unity were told to children as bedtime tales. Every generation was reminded that even in the face of overwhelming odds, courage and togetherness could change destiny. Ordinary people found new strength in the memory of their fallen heroes and in the promise of a better tomorrow. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kara, now celebrated as a hero, began to train a new group of scouts and soldiers. She understood that the power of the heart of the stars must be guarded well and used wisely. Her mission was not only to defend Earth, but also to explore the unknown corners of the universe, seeking out allies and ancient wisdom that could help keep their world safe. As the day turned to evening, the sky above the capital filled with a soft glow, not from the remnants of battle, but from a hopeful sunrise. The people of Earth looked to the stars, knowing that the universe was vast and full of mysteries yet to be discovered. The war had changed them forever, but it had also taught them the value of unity, courage, and hope. The aftermath of the great battle was only the beginning of a new chapter. With the victory still fresh in their hearts, Earth's leaders and people braced themselves for future challenges. The road ahead was uncertain and fraught with danger, Yet they moved forward together, driven by the belief that every end is the start of a new journey. In that quiet moment of reflection, a promise was made. A promise that no matter how dark the night, the light of hope would always guide them. The story of Earth's brave fight, the ancient power of the Keepers, and the unity of its people would live on in every heart, inspiring generations to come. The war had ended for now, but the road ahead beckoned with new adventures, and Earth's story was far from over.